How's it going, YouTube? I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is titled The Pope. So I'm basically just going to give you some quotes from former popes, what the Pope believes, what he's all about, just so you can make up your own mind on him. So I'm going to start off. We've got a quote here from a book from 1896 from an M.F. Cusack, and the book was A Nun from Kenmare. So it says, "The fact is that very few people have realised how entirely Rome is a political church, and that she always makes her political advancement her first object, nor do they realise that it is not only permitted but approved that solemn oaths should be taken which are never intended to be kept. Now Rome is perfectly consistent in her demand for the control of civil government. If her teaching were true that there is no salvation outside the church, she is bound to compel all to belong to the church, even if she has to call in the civil power to help her to enforce submission. This power she has ever invoked and utilised. Rome, claiming as she does the right of ruling all the world in temporal affairs, will not rest content with Ireland." So, the Pope of Rome, he's got two powers. One is his spiritual power and the other is his temporal power. The spiritual power was bestowed upon Pope Boniface III in 606 AD by Focus, which declared there is no salvation outside the Catholic Church. And then the temporal power came about by the finding of a document called the Donation of Constantine. This document stated that the Pope had the right to rule the world. So, in 756, Pepin the Great conferred temporal power on Pope Stephen, Pope Stephen III. This document is now believed to be a forgery. So, the Pope of Rome, he believes he's got the right to rule every country on this planet, and that he is a literal representative of Jesus Christ here on earth. He and his clergy believe that the Pope has a right to dispose of kings and queens if they do not do what they are told by Rome. So I'm going to give you some quotes from former popes. So you've got Pope Pius speaking to school children at the Vatican in 1924. "I am the Pope, I am king over all, I am God on earth. When I speak, my word is the word of God, and you're to remember this as long as you live." There's another quote here from Pope Innocent III in 1215 at the Fourth Lateran Council. "For the Pope holdeth place on earth not simply of a man, but of the one true God." Got another quote from Pope Pius V here. "The Pope and God are the same, so he has all power in heaven and earth." And it is evident, this is another quote here from Pope Nicholas I, 860, and it's a letter to the King of Bulgaria. "It is evident that the popes can neither be bound nor unbound by any earthly power, nor even by that of the Apostle Peter, if he should return upon the earth, since Constantine the Great has recognised that the pontiffs held the place of God upon earth, the divinity not being able to be judged by any living man. We are then infallible, and whatever may be our acts, we are not accountable for them but to ourselves. We, the popes, alone have the power to bind and to loose, to absolve Nero and to condemn him, and Christians cannot, under penalty of excommunication, execute other judgment than ours, which is alone infallible. A king need not fear to command massacres when these will detain his subjects in obedience, or cause them to submit to the faith of Christ, and God will reward him in this world and in eternal life for these murders. We order you in the name of religion to invade his states, burn his cities, and massacre his people." Here's another quote from Pope Leo in 1894. "We the popes hold upon this place, on this earth, the place of God Almighty." In 1895, an article from the Catholic National said, "The Pope is not only the representative of Jesus Christ, but he is Jesus Christ himself under the veil of flesh." And here's some quotes from Catholic clergy. This is an Italian Jesuit, Antonio Santarelli, in 1626. "The Pope must admonish kings and punish them with death." And we've got, this is from multiple Jesuit contributors in 1685, and it was a warning to King Charles II. By reason the Pope is the head, and the kings are but arms or hands of the same body. Therefore, if they do not their duty, being careful to preserve the body, the head as Lord and Master may cut them off. And then we've got down here, the last one, Thomas Aquinas wrote in his Summa Theologica in 1272, the Pope by divine right have spiritual and temporal power as supreme king of the world. So I hope that's gave you a wee bit of insight into the Pope and his beliefs. These haven't changed since these quotes that I've mentioned in this. It's the exact same as it is today. So guys, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.